Hi lovelies, welcome, and if you're not new here, welcome back to Glowings. It's me, Glow, your fairy guide here, and today I wanted to talk about something very close to my heart, very dear to me, and it is to let black girls be whimsy. And I don't mean strong, I don't mean resilient by default, I don't mean the one who's always wondering about you or caring about you. I mean free, whimsy, and soft, and full of light, and full of love, and just what you imagine in fairy tales. So, we're gonna dive into why whimsy actually matters. And whimsy is the ability to explore freedom, to explore imagination without being in survival mode. Whimsy is the part of you that still believes in magic, that is allowed to dream with no limits. The part of you that isn't worried about being too loud, too sensitive, or too much. But the truth is, for so many black girls, that gets taken away way too early. Black girls are told to be more mature, to be stronger, to be more resilient. And black girls aren't really given the opportunity to be soft or to really feel their emotions deeply. And I can say this as a dark skinned girl, it has been tough. Okay, a lot of us are pushed into roles that demand responsibility before we even understand what childhood is like. In childhood, a lot of black girls are often treated like adults. They're expected to stay strong, expected to be resilient, expected to know better, behave better, and grow up faster. But whimsy is how children learn joy. It's how we create a world of our own. It's how we imagine. It's how we've learned to hope. And when you take away whimsy from a child, you take away a piece of their magic. And black girls deserve to keep their magic. Psychologists say that imagination is where children really learn to understand and process the world, and it's where they learn to understand themselves. When the world denies that space to black women, it denies their identity. I remember being so young and loving the idea of fairies and of magic and of, softness. And I think my favorite show at the time was Winx, and it was because of Aisha. And I love the fact that, we could exist in our fairiness and we can be all fairy like. But then I remember being told to be more mature, be more responsible, be more tough. And I don't even mean like being told this by my parents, but even like my peers. It would be like people around us just had a certain vision for us. It was just already dictated what was going to happen. And somewhere in that, I learned to shrink away my whimsy. But I'm reclaiming it now, and I want you to reclaim yours as well. If you look at mainstream TV and you really pay attention to it, you start to notice some biases that the Western media tries to push on a lot of black women. You see that black girls don't get to exist in their softness. They're almost never the fairy, they're never the princess, they're never the shy bookworm who has a vivid, like beautiful imagination. They're never the whimsical one that gets to wander an enchanted world. Instead, these roles written are familiar and repetitive. She's the tough friend, the one who never cries. She's the loud friend, the one who's always a punchline, never the dreamer. She's the comedic relief, carrying the joke and never the storyline. Or she's the caretaker, responsible for everyone but herself. And while these roles may seem harmless, they quietly teach something very dangerous. It teaches you that softness isn't meant for black girls, that whimsy isn't meant for black girls, that imagination and vulnerability are luxuries that they don't get to have. But here's the thing, just because they couldn't imagine us in that way doesn't mean we need to be that way, or we can't be that way. And I want you to know that media doesn't just shape entertainment, it shapes a lot of people's realities. It shapes a lot of people's perceptions, because a lot of people grow up watching things like Disney Channel, Nickelodeon, SpongeBob. As a child, they make you watch these cartoons, and subconsciously, whether or not you're aware, you're watching them dictate and spell out life to different kinds of people. They're teaching you how to love, they're teaching you how to be in social situations. And so whenever the representation is never a black woman who's beautiful, or a black woman who is whimsy, or a black woman who is full of light, who is enchanted, who's magical, they're teaching you that being a black girl means you're not necessarily, you don't have these abilities that these other people do. And when you never see someone on TV who looks like you start believing that these traits belong on other people that are not you, which is very dangerous and very harmful. And that's sort of why I do this. It's really because I never got that representation as a girl, or as a, young black woman. Yes, we did have maybe one, but we didn't have it abundantly the way other, groups did. And it is very harmful, because then, you're looking for the representation and you can never find it. And then the representation you do find is, being the punchline, being the joke, being the comedic relief. And it's like, so is my existence a joke? Is like, a lot of people also spoke, I heard a lot of people also like bring my attention to the, Afro Circus, or something like that. Like it was a show. Like I don't know what show it was in, but it's a very popular like song. And it's like, why would you subconsciously associate having an afro to being a clown? Like, you have to understand that representation matters. And so I'm here to represent like beautiful black women who didn't have the representation growing up. And I'm not saying I'm going to be a perfect representation, but I am saying I'm going to be a representation, and I'm going to be me, and I'm going to be whimsy. And I invite you, especially if you're dark skinned, to be whimsy too. Please don't limit yourself to these ideas that people have of you, or these perceptions people have of you. Come out, show out, be beautiful, dress however you want to dress, look however you want to look, because there's no limits to being black, okay? And you're not the comedic relief, you're not the punchline. Like, yeah, we're funny, but it's not all that we are. We're very beautiful people, and you have to clock it. Like, don't just mindlessly watch things and be like, clock it where it's at. Find it. Like, like, catch it, okay? Nothing is funny about being black. Nothing. Ain't shit funny. Nothing is funny. And so being whimsical as a black girl isn't silly or childish. I refuse to be bullied into, shying away or shrinking away that whimsy part of myself again. I know a lot of my friends, when I had told them about this idea that I had about glowings and how I want to encourage more black women to be whimsy, and I came out in my fairy outfits, and I really do love like fairy core. I got like a lot of like, oh, you want to be white so bad. And it's like, why can't you see that you're associating being soft, being whimsy, to being white? That is an issue. You don't think black people can be whimsy, okay? You have to like deconstruct whatever kind of like biases you have subconsciously in your own mind. Like, I'm not gonna let you bully me, and I don't think I look ridiculous either. I think I look gorgeous. Like, it's so frustrating, you know what I mean? So I want to remind a lot of black women that softness can be intentional, okay? Choosing yourself can be intentional. Letting yourself be whimsy, letting yourself dream, letting yourself, be artistic can also be very healing, because it's taking back version of yourself that you might have hidden away, or you might have shrunk away from people. And instead of asking for permission to be soft, you just let yourself be soft, and then people will catch on. And if they don't catch on, you meet new people who will identify you to softness. And so let softness be a part of your identity, because it feels good and because it feels true. You don't have to struggle, okay? Allow yourself to love art. Allow yourself to love fantasy. Allow yourself to love nature. Allow yourself to love things that make your spirit feel alive, to make you feel like enchanted, to feel mystical. Like, who wants to be anything other than enchanted in a world that is so cruel and so hard on you? Like, I would rather be in my own zone, or my own delusion, or whatever you want to call it. But I want to be, mystical, and I want to be magical. And I want you to remind yourself to let yourself rest without feeling guilty, because you're allowed to enjoy things solely because they make your soul feel warm, solely because they make you feel alive, solely because they make your spirit shine. And so the more we practice softness on purpose, the more natural it becomes. And so if you've ever felt like you needed permission to slow down, to be whimsical, to dream, to laugh, to, imagine, this is it. You do not need anyone's permission. You are allowed to be dreamy, you're allowed to be soft, you're allowed to be playful, you're allowed to create without anyone's guidance, without anyone's permission. You're allowed to explore the things that you love just because you love it. Being whimsical isn't just for storybooks, it's for life, it's for right here, it's for right now. Let black girls be whimsy, let yourself be whimsy, let your heart be free to wander and delight. And speaking of creativity, I can come out and say that ever since I let myself be whimsy and I let myself not shy away from things that actually make me feel good, I have been so much more creative and so much more expressive with my art. Like, I recently created this beautiful necklace and it's called Unlock Your Inner Fairy. And it's to allow people who do want to unlock their inner fairy, who want to be whimsy. It's sort of like a reminder to yourself to know that you're beautiful, you're whimsy, and you're free. And you don't need anyone to give you permission. You hold the key to unlocking your inner whimsy, okay? So if you do like the necklaces, they do come in different variations. I make them to match my wings, so it's basically like merch as well. If you support me, you like the necklaces, or you just want to gift this to a friend because it's just so beautiful, it's so gorgeous, head onto the website. It's www.glowingsart.com, and I make a lot of my art there. I make bowls, I make coasters, just things that light up your room. An example are my art pieces right here. Just, I love expressing myself, and I encourage you to do the same. And so if this message resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you. What does your whimsical self look like? What do you do to stay whimsy? What are little habits that you've curated in your life to remind yourself that you're whimsy? And if you're a black girl, especially a dark skinned girl, allow yourself to be whimsy. And if you're not black and you watch this through, please create a version of black women being soft in your mind, because deconstructing doesn't just mean I have to deconstruct. You have to deconstruct too. All the biases TV has tried to push on you, all the things that, that you've learned and are harmful towards a particular group, try your best to unlearn them, okay? And I want you to take care of yourself, take care of your glow, spread love, spread light, and let yourself be whimsy. And yeah, let me know in the comments if this resonated with you. Let me know what you're going through. Let me know things that you do to stay whimsy, because I believe that if we all share our message, then we can connect. And I love you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, honey.